Today, I'm fortunate to be joined by Alan Dershowitz to go over some of the biggest news stories. Alan, thank you for joining me again.
My pleasure. Thank you.
So, wanted to get your thoughts on this. This morning, the Supreme Court ruled 5-4 against President Trump, forcing him to unfreeze USAID money. Justice Alito posited that lower judges shouldn't be able to dictate what a sitting president can do with money. However, 5 judges ruled that they can. What are your thoughts on that?
I think Justice Alito was right as a matter of policy, but wrong as a matter of constitutional law. So I think the Supreme Court probably came to the right decision, but I think ultimately the legislature should pass a law prohibiting individual federal judges from enjoining the president or anybody else in a national way. They should be limited to their own jurisdiction.
Okay. I also read that Judge McConnell was connected to sitting on the board of a group that had received over $100 million from USAID. Should a judge recuse themselves if they have connections like that?
Absolutely. There's no doubt about it. And there are a lot of judges today who are sitting in cases where they ought to recuse themselves on both sides. And we have to make sure that the judicial system is above reproach. And there's every reason to understand why the vast majority of Americans don't trust judges. And judges, as Hamilton put it in the Federalist Papers, they are the weakest branch. They don't have sword. They don't have purse. All they have is their integrity. And if they lose that, they lose everything.
Okay. One of the stories that came out as they're looking into how money is spent with USAID was that about $2 billion has been given to Palestine. Members of Congress are now saying 90% of that ended up in the hands of Hamas. So we're talking, over $1.5 billion since the attack on Israel. To me, that seems like Hamas is being funded to continue to attack Israel.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. I think the figure is higher than that. Every penny that goes anywhere near the Palestinian Authority, one way or another, ends up in the hands of Hamas. Hamas not only controls all of the Gaza Strip, it controls much of the West Bank. And, of course, money that comes from anybody in Palestine through Qatar is money that has the fingerprints of Hamas on it. And so I'm very happy that the administration is looking hard at AID money. A lot of it is going for other radical political causes that don't deserve any aid. What I think that the administration did wrong is instead of saying ready, aim, fire, they said fire, ready, aim. And they cut off the aid before they did the research, which is the opposite of what Al Gore did when he was basically the Elon Musk of the Clinton administration back in the day. He cut up a lot of spending, but he did it after very careful study.
Okay, interesting. I want to talk about the Jeffrey Epstein files. Attorney General Pam Bondi gets in. She makes this big public announcement. We're going to finally release this. And then it turns out it's just a bunch of redacted stuff. Then we find out the head of the FBI in the Southern District of New York was hiding thousands of documents. Do you think we will ever get to the bottom of this story?
I want to get to the bottom of the story. As someone who was falsely accused, the day I was falsely accused, I asked to have all the papers released, all the videos released. I waived all my right to privacy. I wrote an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal urging the FBI to criminally investigate me. Very simple, because I never had sex with anybody other than my wife from the day I met Jeffrey Epstein. I don't even flirt. So I was clearly falsely identified. And the woman who falsely identified me now has admitted that she may have mistaken me for somebody else and withdrew her lawsuit. So my case is over, and I believe I've been completely and totally exonerated and vindicated. I had nothing to do with anything wrong. That's why from day one I've wanted everything released. Let me tell you what's being withheld, why this is so much more insidious than the media has presented it. What's being withheld is all the negative information about any of the accusers. Many of the accusers, not all of them, many of the accusers were making false accusations stimulated by their lawyers to earn money. And their lawyers have put a lot of money in their pockets. And the FBI, I know this for a fact because I've seen it. The FBI has material that would show that a lot of these women are making it up and are lying. And the FBI and the judges have withheld that information. I want every bit of information out, not only about those who are accused, but those who are the accusers. And let's remember who the accused are. Prime Minister of Israel, Ehud Barak, the former majority leader of the United States Senate, George Mitchell. He was accused of having unprotected sex on numerous occasions with one of the Epstein people. Jacques Cousteau's granddaughter. Richardson, the former ambassador to the United Nations. All these, of course, the Prince Andrew. I have no idea whether those accusations are true or false. I only know that, in my case, I never even heard of, never met, and never had any sexual contact with anybody relating to the Jeffrey Epstein case. So I have reason to suspect that some of these other allegations may very well be false as well. But we'll never know it because the judges and the FBI are all withholding information. What they do is they declare these women to be victims. We don't know whether they're victims or perpetrators. Some of them are perpetrators. When you make a false accusation against somebody who's totally innocent, you're a perpetrator, and the person who's accused is the victim. So let's not immediately jump to the conclusion that just because it's a woman, it's a victim. That's so sexist and so wrong and so violates due process.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I know. Sometimes when you don't have an answer, a story continues to amplify. And I think people just want the information, like good or bad, like what really happened.
I want it all out there.
Yeah. It's like I hear in my circle, people say, how can Ghislaine Maxwell be in jail? And then there's no details about who accused her, or, it's like, it's such a mystery there. So I appreciate you weighing in on that. I don't know whether you watched the State of the Union or not. Okay. What were your thoughts on President Trump's speech?
No surprises at all. That is, he did what he does. He is very sure of himself. He makes it clear that he is going to win by negotiation. And so far, it looks like he's making his point. We're seeing Zelensky is backing down a little bit. Canada is backing down a little bit. The tariffs are maybe having something of an effect. I would hope that colleges and universities today would also take seriously what he said yesterday or the day before yesterday, where he said he's going to cut off funding. Look, Barnard College should not get a single nickel from the federal government. They have no right to my tax money. Barnard College is not a university. It is a propaganda mill, which has all kinds of studies and courses involving, sexism and you name it, and everything phobia. I can't imagine anybody going to Barnard College today and claiming that they got an education. We have professors who are blocking classes, preventing students from going to class, occupying buildings that are named after Jews based on Jewish contributions. The Milstein Center was occupied today. I imagine the Milsteins not being particularly happy that anti-Semites are occupying a building that they contributed to. Don't contribute a single penny to Columbia, to Barnard, to any of the schools that are becoming propaganda mills. They're not teaching students how to think. They're teaching students what to think. That's not education.
Okay, so last night at the State of the Union, Democrats were accused of not clapping for securing the border, not clapping for the boy that survived brain cancer, saying that Trump was using a boy with cancer to make himself look better. I saw it as a Mr. Rogers moment, highlighting a child who had survived hardship and making him an honorary Secret Service agent. You've had hours of interaction with Trump. Is this how he is, or was he in fact using a child to make himself look good?
Oh, no, he really has tremendous empathy for people like that. I know. I spoke to him shortly after, for example, the October 7th events. He really felt it very, very strongly. And what this showed yesterday is that we're such a divided country. You can't even stand up and clap when a kid gets into West Point after his father has been killed and his grandfather. You can't stand up and show that you support the people whose children have been killed by immigrants. No, that's not what should happen. And you sit there the way Elizabeth Warren sat there smirking, or the way Schumer sat there smirking, disrespectfully talking to his neighbors during the entire speech. That's not the American way. I want to come back to a time when Democrats can stand up and applaud for Republicans when they do the right thing, and Republicans can applaud for Democrats when they do the right thing. But it just shows that the Democrats are putting party before country.
Okay. Representative Al Green of Texas had to be removed by the sergeant in arms. He interrupted 3 or 4 times, saying that President Trump isn't fit to be president. This is the same gentleman that is trying to get articles of impeachment against Trump, saying that Trump is part of the ethnic cleansing of Gaza, that he's too pro-Israel. He wants to see the Palestinians wiped out. What were your thoughts on his behavior and his accusations of impeachment? There is a war happening inside of us, all of us. It's probably not what you think. It has to do with our gut health. I'm talking about my sponsor, Kimchi One, something that I believe in. There's a battle in your gut with good bacteria and bad bacteria, and what we feed it determines whether we're happy and healthy. And bad bacteria has taken over the gut of many Americans. Now, Kimchi One from Brightcore Nutrition is the fermented superfood your body needs to arm the good guys with the right weapons to defeat the bad actors in your gut. And I can tell you from personal experience and with my own daughter that this helps to rebuild your gut, get your bowel movements going. It makes you happier and healthier. In fact, Kimchi One has 900 strains of positive beneficial bacteria for the human gut. It helps with digestion, rebuilding your immune system, making you happy, and detoxifying your body. It can even help with the obesity epidemic. A smaller waistline, it can curb your appetite and naturally boost your happiness through serotonin and your metabolism. Today, you can get an exclusive offer by clicking the link below. Just use Gardner for 25% off your entire order. Or for an even better deal, call my friends at Brightcore for up to 50% off your order and free shipping. Call 888-908-4425. Again, why save 25% when you could save up to 50% and get free shipping? Call them at 888-908-4425. I use this product every day. I love it. It really has been helpful for me and my 10-year-old daughter.
He shouldn't be in Congress. He is just a thug and a terrible person. This was all deliberately planned. He knew he was going to get thrown out. He wanted to get thrown out. This is going to be his campaign poster now. He's going to run on having been thrown out of the House. This is the Democrats' problem. And the Democrats, I saw Schumer on television this morning. He would not condemn him. He would not condemn him. He would say, well, I might have done it differently. But this is the Democrats' problem. The Republicans have problems too. Green and others have behaved somewhat similarly when Biden was president. That's not the America that most Americans support. So I have nothing but contempt for Green. He doesn't belong in Congress. As we're speaking, I think there are votes being taken as to whether to sanction him or take some action against him. I hope he is. He has free speech right, but we have the free speech right to condemn him for the way he exercises his free speech right. He can't be convicted because, he did it on the floor of the House of Representatives, but he can be sanctioned internally by the House, and I hope that happens.
Yeah, I had the same thing last night where I was like, okay, this is freedom of speech, but they're in like an official government proceeding where there's this idea of decorum and respect and reverence. And I felt like he went over the line, maybe the first time, but on the third or fourth time, Mike Johnson pounding the gavel, like, come on, we need to wrap this up.
It was deliberate. He wasn't going to stop until he got thrown out. Look, I believe that there are two approaches that the Congress can take. You can either say there's no applause, no show, the way the judges do. The judges say in a courtroom, you can't applaud a verdict, you can't boo the verdict. But what you can't have is a situation where Congress says you can applaud, but you can't boo. So I do think that there is a constitutional right to boo for a couple of seconds. If one side claps, the other side can boo. But you can't prevent the speaker from going forward and speaking, and that's what Rick Green did. That's what he did in this case, and that's what others have done in other cases. So the speaker was absolutely right, but he played into, of course, his hands, because that's exactly what he wanted. He was smiling and happy as he was being thrown out. That was his goal.
Yeah, I agree. It's his next campaign, him pointing the cane at the president. And okay.
Back the Civil War time, somebody used a cane like that to hit another senator over the head and almost killed him. And that happened in the United States Senate. I think it was in the lead up to the Civil War.
Oh, wow. Okay, I didn't know that. Okay, in our final minutes together, you're a prolific writer. You've got a new book out, Palestinianism. What is that book about?
Well, it's a book that's coming out in a couple of weeks. I'm very proud of it. I'm trying to use the term Palestinianism and juxtapose it with Zionism. Zionism is an attempt to build a country. Palestinianism is an attempt to destroy a country. Palestinianism has no goal to create a Palestinian state. Almost nobody wants the two-state solution who supports Palestinianism. The goal of Palestinianism is to end Zionism, is to end the nation state of the Jewish people, to end Israel. And so I think Palestinianism, this exclusive focus on Palestinian rights without focusing on the rights of any other group, and the exclusive focus on Israeli wrongs, poses great danger to fairness and to democracy. So I've published this short book, which we're going to make available to college students, particularly all over the country, so that they know when these pro-Palestinian demonstrations take place, what they're demonstrating for and what they're demonstrating against. In Barnard today, nobody is calling for a two-state solution. What they want is to wipe out Israel. Palestine will be free. Free of what? Free of Jews from the river to the sea. And we have to understand what Palestinianism is. It's a great, great danger, and I'm going to keep writing about it. Look, if I were 26 years old rather than 86 years old, I wouldn't be on this show. I would be volunteering in Israel to defend the right of that country to live in peace. But I'm 86 years old, so I only have one weapon, and it's my pen. I don't even have a computer, so I write everything by hand on yellow pages, and then I put the book form. And I've written 57 books. I'm hoping to reach 60 before I turn 90, so let's see what happens.
Wow. Well, may you live a long life. Alan, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to come on. When that new book comes out, I'll make sure to let my audience know about it. Thank you. I hope you have a great rest of your day.
It's a pleasure to be on with somebody so intelligent and thoughtful.
Thank you.